Welcome. Today we are going to take literature portion, and from poetry section we are taking the poem Somebody's Mother, that is given in 8th standard, and it was written by Mary Dobry. So before reading to any writer's or poet's masterpiece, it's very important to know about the author or the poet, so that while reading their art we will be feeling very much connected to what they wanted to say. Like, we can find the climatic condition they are talking about. So different places the climate is different, so that's why it is very important to know about the poet or about the writer. So let us talk about the poetess Mary Northern Brine. She was born in the year 1916 and died in the year 1913. American poet, author and lyricist, and she was born in New York, so that whenever while coming across the poem we can find all the elements of foreign country that we can't find here in India. She has written many poems and children's books published by numerous important publishers. So summary of the poem. Poem named Somebody's Mother, written by Mary Dobry, is a mesmerizing poem which tells us about the value of love, care, sympathy and generosity. So in this poem, the values through which we are going to come across are the value of love, care, sympathy and generosity that are very important in our life. Here we can find the fear of old women who is not able to cross the road by her own due to traffic in her way. So here we can just find about the anxiety of a woman, or old woman, who is very fearful standing at the corner and she is not able to cross the road by her own, and that's because just due to the traffic in her way. So other adjectives that we can find for old lady in this poem are aged, slow, uncared, kind-hearted, alone. So these are the other adjectives that we can find for the old women. That she was very aged, slow, she can't move. She was all alone trying to cross the road, but no bystander heeded to her need. But at last there comes a group of happy children, and one amongst them helped that old lady to cross the road. So finally a boy came and he helped her. The boy helped her with intention that someday someone would help his mother just the way he helped somebody's mother in similar situation when he will be far away from his mother, he wanted to say. The boy felt very contented after helping the old women. The old women too prayed to God to be kind to the boy. It means that to somebody's son who helped her to cross the road. And in this poem we will be coming across the various figures of speech and rhyme scheme also we will be finding here. So the first one. An old woman nervously waits to cross the road. A young schoolboy sees her anxiety and rushes to help her. Why does he do so? So here what question they are asking, that why do he do so? It means that that young boy, schoolboy, he used to see her anxiety and rushes to help her. So why do he do so? So this is the question. So that we are going to find in this poem. The woman was old and ragged and grey and bent with chill of winter's day. The street was wet with a recent snow, and the woman's feet were aged and slow. She stood at the crossing and waited long, alone, uncared for, amid the throng of human beings who passed her by. None needed the glance of her anxious eye. Down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, come the boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the snow piled white and deep. So the first stanza, So the first lines itself, they tells us that this is a poem in which the poetess is talking about a woman who is very old and ragged. Ragged, it means that something that is worn out. So it is mainly about her appearance and the clothes. And grey and bent with chill of winter's day. So it means that in the winter's day, as I already told you, that this is all the perspective we have to see from the American perspective. Okay, this is not India. So we know that it's already it's very chill. The weather is very chilly in the foreign countries during the winter season. So she was bent with the chill of the winter's day. It means that she was feeling very cold. The street was wet with a recent snow. So there was a snowfall, due to which the street was wet. And the women's feet were aged and slow. And in contrast to that, what happened? That women's feet, it means that old lady's feet, that she was aged and she was very slow. That is normal in the old age. She stood at the crossing and waited long. And she was standing there at the crossing and waiting for someone, that someone will come and help her. Alone, and she was alone, uncared, amid the throng. Amid, it means that in between, and throng, it means that crowd. Okay, so in between the crowd, she was all alone, uncared, and waiting for someone. Of human beings who passed her by, none heeded the glance of her an anxious eye. And no one heeded, it means that paid attention to the glance of her anxious eye. Glance, it means that look of her anxious eye. It means that worried and afraid. By looking into her eyes, we can just find that that lady was very worried and afraid of something. Down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out. So we know that, as you all also, what you used to do when your school is over, you used to directly rush out of your classes. At that time, the students, those who used to rush out of the classes, they used to make noises. We can just hear the laughters in the corridors, the wishing is there, and all such kind of things we can find. So similar was the condition here also, that their school let out. It means that some school was closed, or there was we can say that school was over and the children were coming. They were free from their school, and all the laughter and shout we can hear there at the downside of the street. Glad in the freedom of school let out. It means that they all were very happy of the freedom of that school is over. So come the boys like flock of sheep, and boys are here compared with the flock of sheep. So we have already learned in our previous classes about the figures of speech. So figures of speech, why they used to use? So that they can just figures of speech in a simple word, you can just find that figures of speech are just like if we used to decorate a cake. So whatever we used to do, like we used to do topping and various things, we used to put it on there just to make our cake look beautiful. So similar is the case with figures of speech. Why we used to add figures of speech in our writing? Just to make our writing more beautiful, so that its impact will be more good. So this is what the role of figures of speech. So here the figures of speech that is used is, so you can comment below. I'm not going to tell you because here it like is there. So before that, I will be giving you two options so that you can choose. First one is metaphor. It means that comparison between two indifferent things without using as or like. And the second one is simile. It means comparison between two indifferent things with using as or like. So this you will be finding that here, that come the boys like a flock of sheep. So boys are compared with the flock of sheep. Flock means that group. Okay, so group of sheep, we call them as a flock. So this you can also find that whether it is a countable or uncountable noun. So hailing the snow piled white and deep. Hailing, so we have heard about the hailstorm. It means that hailing, it means that unstoppable, and that were so hard. The snow when we compare between a snowfall and a hailstorm, so both are different. Snow is made up of small soft particles, but whereas hails, we can just say that they are the frozen part of the rain. So while compared, they are more harder. So hailing the snow piled white and deep, it means that the the snow was piled. What is the meaning of piled? It means that collection of object laid on the top of one another. Okay, so that is called as piling. Suppose if you go to your home and you throw all your books here and there, one above another, and you throw your clothes instead of putting them on their perfect place, you used to just throw them over your chair or bed. That is called as piling. Okay, so that you should not do. So down the street with laughter and shout, glad in the freedom of school let out, come the boys like a flock of sheep, hailing the snow piled white and deep. Past the women so old and grey, hasten the children on their way, nor offering a helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to steer, lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. At last come one of the merry troop, the gayest lad of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low, I will help you cross if you wish to go. Her aged hand on his strong young arm she placed, and so without hurt or harm. So here, past the women so old and grey, hasten the children on their way. So past, it means that all the children, those who were coming back from the school, they all passed. It means past the women. They just, where she was standing, they all crossed her. The old and grey, hasten the children on their way. Hasten, it means that move quickly. Okay, someone is moving quickly. So those children were moving quickly on their way, and they were not paying any attention to this old lady standing there for help, nor offering a helping hand to her. So what we have to do, so what message we can find from this, that whenever we see someone, that someone is in the need of help, we should go and help them. Okay, so but here what was the condition? That no one was helping her, no one was ready to help her. Helping hand to her, so meek, so timid, afraid to stir. And this all are used for those children, those who were passing through that old lady. They are called as meek, timid, and afraid to stir. Meek, what is the meaning of meek? Meek means quiet or gentle. Okay, if someone says something and they are not having guts to reply for that, so that is known as meek. So timid. Okay, so timid also means that, it means that adjective, it is adjective, and you can't ask question if something wrong is there. Nervous. Okay, shy or nervous. Stir, it means to make something round and round. If there's a liquid, and when you, with the help of spoon, while making any, if you are just going to mix sugar in the water, so that time you used to stir that solution with the spoon. So that process is called as a stir. So afraid to stir, here it means that to meet her, lest the carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. It means that lest, what is the meaning of lest? To avoid the risk. Okay, so lest, to avoid the risk of carriage wheels or the horse's feet should crowd her down in the slippery street. So here what they are saying, that in order to protect herself from the carriage wheels, it means that whatever the carriage that was moving through, in modern era we can just find the vehicles that used to move, so we used to get afraid that they will crash us. So she was also afraid of that carriage wheels and horses' feet, those who were moving from that area, should crowd her down in the slippery street. It means that they will be crowding her down in those slippery street. So it means that that was not looking very possible for her to cross in such situation. At last come one of the merry troop, the gayest lad of all the group. So at last there comes a group of boy. Merry, it means that happy, okay. The gayest, it means that the happiest. Lad, it means that young boy of all the group. He paused beside her and whispered low. In a very low voice, he whispered that I will help you cross if you wish to go. And he told that, okay, I am ready to help you to cross the road. If you are willing to go, come with me. Her aged hand on his strong young arm. So here we can just see the poetess is just trying to show the contrary features of one old woman and on other hand a strong young man. So both are different, okay. Old age and when you are young. So her aged hand. So look, we have to be very careful. They are saying that her aged hand on his strong young arm, because he was a schoolboy and he was strong and young. So strong young arm and her aged hand. She placed and so without hurt or harm, and so her hold was such very soft that it was not very harmful or it was not hurting to that young boy. He guided the trembling feet along, proud that his own were firm and strong. And again, trembling feet is used for the feet of that old lady, and firm and strong here are used for that young boys. And he was proud that his feet were firm and strong, and with this proud that he was still strong, he was guiding the trembling feet along. What is the trembling? It means that shaking, something when it used to shake. Then back again to his friends he went, and after dropping her to where she wanted to go, or after making her to cross the road, he came back to his friends, his young heart happy and well content. Well content, it means that it is an adjective, it means that completely satisfied, okay. So his young heart was so happy and he was completely satisfied that he helped someone. So this happens with us also, that whenever we used to help someone, that time we used to feel that we are very happy, and it used to give us satisfaction. She is somebody's mother, boys, for all she is aged and poor and slow. And he was saying that she is somebody's mother, somebody else's mother, boys, and now he was telling to his friends, for all she is aged and poor and slow. And again he is saying that she is aged, poor and slow. And I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother. So at first the question that is asked to us, that why this young boy helped her. So here we can find out the answer, that for all she aged and poor and slow, and I hope some fellow will lend a hand to help my mother. Because he was thinking that if my mother someday she will be in need of some help, that day someone else will help my mother. That's why I help somebody's mother. You understand? And he was making this concept clear to his friends. If ever she is poor and old and grey, and he is saying that if my mother is going to be poor, old or grey, so that time someone will come and help her in the same manner as I helped somebody else's mother. When her own dear boy is far away, and he was saying that when I will be far away from my mother, when her own dear boy is far away, this all things this young boy is telling, that when her own dear boy is far away, it means that when I will be far away from my mother and she will be very poor, old and grey, so that time someone else will help my mother when she will be needing some help. In the similar manner how today I help somebody's mother. So this was the point of view of that boy, that why he helped somebody's mother. And this last stanza is very important. and somebody's mother bowed her head in the home that night. And that night, what happened? After this old lady, after going to her home, she bowed her head in home that night. It means that she bowed her head because she was praying, and the prayer she said was, God be kind to the noble boy. And in that prayer also we can just find the motherly affection, love. Okay, because mothers are very, this mother's qualities is that they will be always praying for their child, for their well-being and for their all good fortune. So similar was the condition with that woman also, that somebody's mother, she bowed her head and prayed from the God for the well-being of this kind and noble boy. So this kind and noble boy, this is told, this is used for that young boy who helped somebody's mother. And again the last line, who is somebody's son and pride and joy. And she was saying to the God, oh God, please help that kind and noble boy who is somebody's son. It means that he is not my son but someone else's son. And pride and joy, and he is the pride and joy of his mother, father and the parent. So this is a very beautiful poem written by Mary D'O'Brien. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now let's take some difficult words. So ragged, it means that worn out, throng, crowd, heeded, paid attention to, hasn't moved quickly, meek means quiet, gentle, kind and calm, amid, surrounded by or in the middle of. Gazed, it means that happy and full of fun. Carriage, a vehicle with wheels that is pulled by horses. So here we can just see that a picture of carriage. This means that a vehicle that is pulled with the help of horses. Next, trembling, it means to shake. Bowed, to bend our head or upper part of our body. So it means that the posture of praying. Pride, having a feeling of being good and worthy. When you used to have the feeling that you're being good to someone or you're worthy of something, so that time it is called as that. So that's all. So hope you understood and